Tonight on CTV News at 6. Killed on the job.
Information provided was that a contract worker was trapped beneath an excavator.
A 42-year-old dies in the greater Sudbury community of Hanmer. A made-in-Timmins approach.
More information helps you understand your situation better.
The complexities of intimate partner violence and why women stay. And at risk of being homeless.
Through the city's coordinated access, various shelters and other service providers, we've identified 11 veterans that have been experiencing homelessness.
The federal government is partnering with the city of Greater Sudbury to help veterans.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. We begin in Greater Sudbury, where a 42-year-old man was killed on the job this morning. Our top story from CTV's Angela Kimmel.
Investigators spent a good portion of the day at this rural property in Hanmer looking into a workplace fatality.
So information provided was that a contract worker was trapped beneath an excavator. So police, fire, and EMS were all dispatched to the scene. Unfortunately, the 42-year-old man was pronounced deceased at the scene.
Sudbury police say the incident happened around 8:15 this morning.
Our integrated traffic safety unit was the initial response, and now our criminal investigations division is working in collaboration with the coroner's office as well as the Ministry of Labor, as this is a workplace fatality. So they will determine the circumstances that led to the fatality, as well as any other relevant information.
Both police and Ministry of Labor investigators were on scene throughout the day collecting evidence. Large piles of sand could be seen behind the home where landscape work was being done. However, no details have been released on how the worker ended up trapped under the excavator.
All of that information is determined by the MOL, and based on the fact that they are the lead investigators, we don't want to impede on the integrity of their investigation.
CTV reached out to the Ministry of Labor, who says an inspector has been assigned to investigate, but no further details are available. A spokesperson for the Office of the Chief Coroner could only confirm they are investigating, but added details are not being released publicly. At the request of the family, the 42-year-old victim's name will not be released. Police also did not disclose the name of the company the worker was employed with. Angela Kimmel, CTV News, Hanmer.
Algoma University in Sault Ste. Marie has confirmed there will be layoffs at the school in the coming months. A statement from the university's interim president and vice chancellor, Sheila Embleton, says the school saw a drastic drop in enrollment this year, nearly 50%. That amounts to a $6.6 million shortfall in tuition revenue. It's possible 50 to 75 layoffs will be coming in the next few months. Embleton said, in part, this decision was not made lightly and represents a true last resort. No specific timeline has been provided for the layoffs. A made-in-Timmins approach to informing people about the complexities of intimate partner violence and why women stay in abusive relationships is now live online. CTV's Lydia Chubak has more.
The new website, stayingisn'tchoosing.ca, is where people can find resources, crisis phone lines, myth-busting content, among other details about intimate partner violence, including 5 short films.
But he can be a good man, an amazing father.
I just did a 10-hour shift, and I come home to this? Hey, where do you think you're going?
And he looks after you.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Each video runs about 2 minutes long. Some of the topics include details about various forms of abuse and control, such as gaslighting, financial manipulation, family or cultural pressures, and intimidation and isolation.
If you can name what gaslighting is, if you can name what coercive control is, if you're able to identify it and name it, then that means you can better stand up to it, right? More information helps you understand your situation better. So I'm hopeful that it's an education campaign that can educate in so many more ways than one.
Nobert DeMarchi says many partners were involved in the creation of this new website and videos, including the City of Timmins, Lviv, local media businesses, Indigenous groups, even local actors were cast as characters. Nobert DeMarchi says it's a made-in-Timmins solution to address one of the most common and painful questions IPV workers hear: why do women stay?
oftentimes there are systemic barriers, and there's things that are in place both in their personal lives and systemically that don't allow them to leave. Systemic barriers can be there's no space in shelter. It can be, their own personal, they may not have financial capacity to move. They may not have a space to go. They may not have the supports in place.
Officials say they want to change the narrative from blaming women to having people better understand the complexities of why women choose to stay and learn how to be more supportive. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
The province has increased land ambulance funding this year to help offload patients faster when they reach hospital. In the Cochrane District Services area, the investment is nearly $8.5 million, or a 2% funding increase. The increase to base funding is aimed at helping municipalities address rising costs of healthcare services like paramedic staff and equipment. MPP George Perry announced that, along with additional funding to help hire nurses and other medical staff through the dedicated Offload Nurses program. The extra funding totals a little more than $145,000. All right, it's time for our first check on weather. How are things looking out there? To tell us more, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Tony, things will gradually improve by tomorrow. There will be some clearing in the northeast. We'll get rid of some of the cloud, enjoy a couple of days of sunshine, deal with a couple of days with the chance of showers, and get back to some of the sunshine. Our systems map approaching, the province of Quebec right now, moving downward. And of course, we had lots of rain in the Timmins, Cochrane area yesterday, but that's gone. We've got some cloud cover. We'll see some sunshine to kickstart the weekend. Little cool for tomorrow night. Get ready for that. We'll talk about our currents and our 7-day forecast, all coming up in just a few minutes. Tony.
Thanks for that, Rick. Fire crews in Timmins were called to High Falls yesterday to rescue a dog. A pair of kayakers were paddling Grassy River with their pup when their kayak overturned. The dog was stranded on some rocks below High Falls, and the paddlers couldn't reach it because of strong currents and challenging terrain. The fire department was able to rescue the dog. Back to office directive. Still to come on CTV News at 6. A rally outside Queen's Park by Ontario Public Servant Unions. Right now, we're off to Elliott Lake and a live webcam of the Miners Memorial. This is courtesy of the City of Elliott Lake. It's 23 degrees. Our newscast returns after these brief messages.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Today, the federal government announced it is partnering with the City of Greater Sudbury by investing $552,000 to support the city's Veterans Homelessness Program. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
The program aims to help veterans who are experiencing or at imminent risk of homelessness.
That funding is going to Centre de Santé, who operates the homelessness network on our behalf, and the funding is for over a 4-year period, so it's $138,000 a year, and that will be used to fund 1 full-time dedicated staff, as well as providing supports for direct services.
I know a lot of us don't think of veterans of being homeless or at really imminent risk of being homeless, but the sad reality is that is indeed the case. So what we want to do is provide those really important supports to our veterans. They served us well, and this is an opportunity for us to ensure that they are treated with the dignity and respect that they deserve.
The key goals for the program include securing and maintaining stable housing for veterans and offering culturally appropriate supports for them, including Indigenous veterans. Ray Landry says the program has been active in the city for almost a year and is already seeing great success.
Through the city's coordinated access, various shelters and other service providers, we've identified 11 veterans that have been experiencing homelessness. And the program since October is working quite well, and we've succeeded in housing 11 of those veterans with, we believe, a 10th to be housed very soon.
According to the 2021 census, there are an estimated 461,240 Canadian veterans. As of April 2025, the Government of Canada estimates that over 2,000 veterans are experiencing homelessness across Canada. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Following 2 days of torrential rain last summer in Strong and Jolly townships that washed out roads and left severe damage in its wake, the province is coming through with disaster relief funding. When the wild weather blew in on June 23rd and 24th, flash floods washed out roads and culverts were severely damaged in both townships. The provincial government is providing $555,000 through its Municipal Disaster Recovery Assistance Program to help the communities cover the emergency response costs and infrastructure repairs. Strong Township is getting $492,000, while Jolly is set to receive up to $63,000. At the same time, the municipalities have been preparing for any future natural disasters.
We're upgrading the size of our culverts. We're doing everything we can to make sure that these types of events are preventative. An ounce of prevention to a pound of solution, and that's what we are doing for sure. We all come together and get the roads open, get the roads safe again.
That's really challenging and difficult in municipalities like this, where a lot of the roads are kind of one-way, roads. They're dead-end roads, and so we need to make sure that our communities, big and small, are looked after when things go sideways from Mother Nature.
And Smith says the reason the money is flowing in a little over a year later is because the province had to follow a process to tally up the cost of damage and extent of the resources used. Football season is underway, and so is another game drawing millions of players across the country, fantasy football. But while many see it as harmless fun, gaming experts say there can be a darker side. CTV's Lauren Stallone has that story.
The month of September might mark the end of summer, but it also means the start of fantasy football season.
Sports is my way to escape and kind of break away, especially with the pressures from school.
For Western University student Travis Mackay, fantasy football has allowed him to stay connected to the sports world.
I am an avid sports fan. Throughout my entire life, I grew up playing sports, so it's been a key part about who I am.
He says participating in the game is a great way to stay in touch with friends.
Whether you're kind of making fun of them for how bad your team is, or really being excited about how the team you follow is doing well, plus your fantasy team's going well, so it's always a good time.
And while for Mackay, fantasy football is nothing more than friendly competition, mental health experts say the impact on an individual can be far from casual.
Typically, when they're spending more time than they should gambling, their mood is dropping, so they might be feeling some more depression or some more anxiety.
Health professionals say young people are especially vulnerable to addiction.
Their brains are still developing up until around the age of 26.
But for Travis, he reminds himself the goal is simple: to have fun.
We all know what everyone's limitations are, and we don't want to really push those kind of boundaries. And I know people can and have experienced stuff where they've kind of gone past that limit, and that's where things kind of get wary.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
To Queen's Park, where provincial employees took a stand today, protesting the government's plan to force them back to the office. Thousands have signed a petition calling for a reversal of the decision so they can continue remote and hybrid work. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more.
Hundreds of public sector workers spill out of office buildings near Queen's Park, pushing back on a plan that will see them in the office 5 days a week starting in January.
Why are we going back to this stone age?
While remote work became the norm during the pandemic, labor union Amapsio says their members have had flexibility to do it for 15 years.
It's been proven to work. We've proven that we are professionals who can get the job done.
Right now, public service employees are only required to be in the office 3 days a week. Last month, the Premier emphasized helping businesses that rely on commuters and the importance of being face-to-face.
Everyone's more productive when they're at work, and how do you mentor someone over a phone? You can't.
These boxes represent the 13,000 people Amapsio says have signed a petition telling Doug Ford he's wrong. Workers who have had flexibility to go in or work from home insist it's a better setup for the taxpayers who pay their salaries.
When I work from home, I'm well rested
and I can work longer.
Actually means that I can do better work. I'm wasting less time commuting, less time having to take breaks.
There's a feeling here of being insulted, disrespected by the return to office edict.
Our members are angry, and we're here today to, tell the government, our employer, that this was unfair. Logistically, it's not going to work.
Including what Amapsio says is a lack of appropriate space to work.
I deal with confidential labor relations issues. I don't want to be talking about them when there's 20 people around.
Amapsio is meeting with the Secretary of Cabinet at the end of the month, hoping for a change of heart. But at this moment, the government's return to office plan remains in place. A spokesperson for Treasury Board President Caroline Mulrooney explains the 5 days per week in workplace standard represents the current workforce landscape in the province, reinforcing our commitment to reflecting the people and businesses we serve across Ontario. Workers do see value in being together.
But there's value in letting people take care of their families. There's value in letting people get home immediately instead of spending 1, 2, 3 hours a day in commute. It means that we're better rested. It means we're energized and we're able to give our best every day.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Back now for a check on the current conditions. Here's Rick.
Tony, I liked staying at home for a couple of years. It was great. I got to meet the Amazon drivers, take out the dog, shovel the snow, make supper. It was a lot of fun. Forecast radar as we get into the start of the weekend, Tony. I just had to throw that in. No rain today. Yesterday we had lots of rain, Timmins, Cochrane, of course, with the thunderstorms and what have you, and things will clear up eventually by tomorrow. Let's take a look at some of our current temperatures. Big cool down from last night. You'll recall some of the temperatures were vastly higher. Moosonee only 9 cloud cover, Cochrane sun and cloud at 12. Mainly sunny in Timmins at 15, 13 in Kapuskasing as well. 17 in Chapleau, Wawa 19, Sault Ste. Marie at 23, beautiful night in the Sioux. Parry Sound 25 with the cloud cover. Meanwhile in North Bay 16, mainly cloudy. Sunshine in Temiskaming Shores, mainly sunny in Kirkland Lake. Sudbury Nickelbelt 19 cloud cover, 24 Espanola, 23 Elliott Lake, and Gore Bay at 26, mainly cloudy. Our 7-day forecast. And the pick of the day all coming up. Tony, did you like staying at home? No, you were here working, doing your job.
Thanks for that, Rick. It's a whirlwind visit next on CTV News at 6. Is there room to grow? The Prime Minister is in Mexico with a goal of expanding trade ties. And we set up a big dog show starting tomorrow in Greater Sudbury. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Mexico, hoping to strengthen the bilateral relationship between our two countries in light of Donald Trump's punishing tariffs. CTV's Judy Trin is in Mexico City with what's at stake and what's on the table.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is using this bilateral meeting with President Claudia Sheinbaum to reset a relationship that had been previously sidelined. Today, the two signed a comprehensive strategic partnership. The emphasis on strengthening ties with Mexico comes as U.S. President Donald Trump begins the process of unraveling CUSMA, the North American Trade Agreement. Last year, Canada did $56 billion of trade with Mexico, and Carney wants to boost that number. The Prime Minister is meeting with President Sheinbaum one-on-one. The leaders will discuss more cooperation to combat the trafficking of drugs, guns, and people. But the focus will be on building up their economies. They will also have a working lunch with top ministers, including Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand, along with Dominic LeBlanc, the lead minister responsible for U.S. trade negotiations. While the leaders talk about increasing trade with each other, it will be a conversation in the context of Trump's desire for a new North American deal.
They will be discussing their approach to the possible renegotiation of the CUSMA, but I think they're going to walk a careful balance in that they don't want to appear to be ganging up on the United States on this.
After their 4-hour meeting wraps up, the Prime Minister will hold a reception for Canadian business leaders who want to expand into Mexico. Judy Trin, CTV News, Mexico City.
And Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne commenting on trade relations between Canada and the U.S.
You know, we've been trading with each other for
more than a century. And in fact, we're the 2 largest trading partners. It is sad, I would say, that our largest trading partner turned its back on Canada, which has led to us having to reassess how we're going to build the economy of the future.
The minister's comments came after U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, said the Trump administration was hoping to reach a much bigger deal with Canada that would go beyond renegotiating the current free trade pact. This while a group of U.S. senators have refiled legislation to challenge Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada. The senators, 4 Democrats and 1 Republican, say tourism from Canada to the U.S. fell nearly 34% since Trump launched the trade war. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine releasing a statement that reads, in part, "It is time to end President Trump's senseless trade war with Canada, one of our closest allies and top trading partners. The American people overwhelmingly oppose it, and it has already done lasting damage to the bilateral relationship, which can be seen in declines in Canadian tourism to the United States and declining sales of American products in Canada." Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says no president should be able to abuse emergency powers to bypass Congress and unilaterally impose tariffs. The move comes as the U.S. Trade Office serves notice that it has started public consultations of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump met with U.K. Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The 2 world leaders announced a major tech partnership during a joint news conference, a $470 billion investment package between the 2 nations.
We're taking the next logical step with a historic agreement on science and technology partnerships, and this will create new government, academic, and private sector cooperation in areas such as AI, which is taking over the world.
The deals and investment that you're announcing today break all records. What a day. £250 billion flowing both ways across the Atlantic. It is the biggest investment package of its kind in British history by a country mile.
The leaders signed the agreement earlier today that will see the 2 nations work together to develop AI models for healthcare, expand quantum computing capabilities, and streamline civil nuclear projects. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Sneak peek at the weekend, Tony. You can conceivably say it's here. A lot of people like to start the weekend. They're either off Friday or else they'll start celebrating. Thursday evening, forecast radar, here we go. We've got some cloud cover which will leave the area tomorrow, and it'll bring some sunshine according to Environment Canada. So there's a lot of cloud clearing and really no significant risk of shower activity for tonight. Meanwhile, overnight, as you can see some of these numbers, little cool. Sudbury 3, Sault Ste. Marie 7, Timmins 2, Temiskaming Shores 3, and North Bay 3. So partly cloudy conditions, mostly cloudy conditions. Moosonee at 2, Caphurst at 2, Wawa 3, clear, Gore Bay 7, and Perry Sound at 6. Okay, now your lucky numbers for Sudbury Nickel Belt. Let's begin with clearing tomorrow at 16, 18 Saturday, sunshine. Cloud cover Sunday, 18, 20, both days, Monday, Tuesday. Chance of showers, take your pick, 40% Monday, 30% Tuesday, and some sun and cloud Wednesday at 20 once again. Meanwhile, in beautiful Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma, sunshine tomorrow at 19, sun and cloud Saturday, 18. 19, 20, and 21. 3 days with a chance of showers Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 30%, 40%, 30%. You pick and choose. Wednesday, sun and cloud, and at 19. That's still above normal. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Gradual clearing tomorrow. 14, 19 on Saturday with the sunshine. A chance of showers Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at 30, 40, and 30%. 19 and 20 your temperatures. Wednesday, we're back at it again. Some sun and cloud, and 21 again. That's about 6 degrees above normal for this time of the year. How about Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake? Mainly sunny skies for tomorrow. 15, 18, and sunny Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Chance of showers again, 18, 20, and 21. Wednesday, we've got sun and cloud again, 21. So your evening temperatures are varying. You're going from 1 to 5 to 13, 12, 11, back down to 6. So that up and down cycle, especially at this time of the year in the month of September. North Bay, West Nipissing. Gradual clearing tomorrow, 16, 19 Saturday sunshine. Sunday, we've got some cloud cover at 19 as well. Then the chance of showers both days, Monday, Tuesday, 40 and 30%. Wednesday, some sun and cloud again, 20. You've got 20-degree highs for all 3 days. And you're saying, Rick, 30, 40%. What does that mean? It could. Maybe it won't. We'll see what happens. Let's have a look at the pick of the day right now. Here we go. Normand Bolduc, sunrise on Porcupine Lake, South Porcupine. Norm, thanks so much for that picture. Great shot. I love the reflection of the cloud off the water. Great shot there. Thank you so much. Perhaps your submission could be on the air come Monday. Tony is next with more news.
The Sudbury District Kennel Club is holding a big dog show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Richard Paquette now joins us. Richard, so nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Tony. It's been a while.
It has. Before we get to talking about the event, you brought along a special guest.
I did. I brought along Bowie, a Shih Tzu, purebred Canadian Kennel Club registered dog. The exciting thing about Bowie is he is cleaning up at the dog shows. He's the #4 dog of all dogs in Canada competing, and he's also top in his category, the non-sporting group. And my niece, Sarah, who shows him, is the top owner handler in the whole country.
And also from Greater Sudbury. That's incredible.
It is, from the little town of Sudbury. We have this greatness right here, top dogs.
Tell us a little bit more about the show. Will Bowie be at the show and competing against other dogs?
Yes, Bowie will be competing against all the other top dogs that are coming to Sudbury. We have over 200 dogs competing, and the show's running, like you said, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's an exciting time. Spectators come by, they can wander around the grooming area and chat with the breeders who are so proud of their dogs they'll answer any question you ever wanted to know about purebred dogs.
So they're all purebreds, so
yes.
No crossbreeds at all in this show?
No, you know, the Canadian Kennel Club, which is the host kennel club for these shows, they only promote purebred dogs, and we support all breeds of dogs, and we support shelters and rescue and all of these kind of things. But this event is primarily to show off our CKC purebred dogs.
So Bowie's going to be there. Any other dogs that we should watch out for or that are coming that you would like to let our audience know about?
Well, again, we have quite a variety of breeds. I know we have one of the top Siberians coming, and I'm not sure if it's entered, but perennial favorite of showing at our shows in Sudbury is an outstanding Newfoundland dog. Locally, we have some beautiful Havanese breeders that will be exhibiting their dogs. And we also have the Norwegian Elkhound Club of Canada national specialty. So if you're into the Norwegian Elkhound, now is the time to come and see them, because they'll be here showing off.
Okay, I have one final question for you. People at home are looking at Bowie and saying, what's on his face?
He's in what's called the maintenance wrap. So these wrappers prevent him from getting his beautiful long hair into his dog food bowl. And, you know, that's why he's in these maintenance wrappers.
All right, Richard, thanks so much for your time and good luck with the show.
We will have an exciting time, and if any of your viewers watch the movie Best in Show, you'll have just as much fun coming to our dog show, because we have all those personalities at the dog show.
How true. Yeah, it's a great event. And for more information, don't forget, go to sdkc.ca. Well, one man's personal health journey has inspired him to spearhead the donation of an expensive piece of equipment to Mackenzie Health in Toronto. CTV's Pauline Chan has more on how it will make a difference.
Hey, Ed. Good to see you.
A year ago, Ed O'Brien was exploring his options to be treated for benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, a common non-cancerous condition in which the prostate enlarges and starts blocking the flow of urine. It can cause patients to have to wake frequently to go to the bathroom and can even lead to kidney or bladder infections.
Ed, in an ideal world, I'd be doing a surgery with the morcelator next week for you. And I said, okay, well, let's do that. And he goes, well, we don't have a morcellator.
Dr. Michael Kogan says traditional treatment usually involves creating a path through the blockage.
It's almost like coring an apple. You make it a hole down the middle, but the problem is all that tissue can grow back and block the path.
O'Brien had to have surgery that left him with an 8-inch scar and 3 months of recuperation.
The worst part of the whole thing was having the catheter for so long. I had a catheter for almost 10 weeks. And there's nothing worse.
It inspired him to think of how to give back to the hospital that has taken care of him and his family for so many years. It was his donation that led to the purchase of a $250,000 morcellator, with the Paul B. Hellawell Foundation matching the community's dollars. Instead of boring through the prostate, a laser is used to remove the blockage and push the tissue into the bladder. The morcellator breaks up that chunk of tissue so it can easily be removed.
Because you get rid of all of the tissue, the chance of ever needing another procedure done is almost zero, or it's very low. With this procedure, people will either be day surgery or sometimes an overnight stay in hospital, and the catheter comes out the next day. So it's really a game changer.
Why don't more hospitals have this device?
It's a combination of cost. You need to be able to purchase an expensive device, and there's also a training side to this as well.
Ed says he's just glad that no other patients with BPH will have to go through unnecessary hardship.
I feel great about it. I really do.
Ed O'Brien hasn't yet seen the device that he helped to purchase, but it's already been in use at Mackenzie Richmond Hill since April, helping dozens of new patients. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new report shows nearly 300,000 people in Ontario left a hospital emergency room without getting treatment over the last year due to wait times. The numbers come from the Montreal Economic Institute, a right-of-center think tank. MEI based the figures on information requests from each province. Out of almost 6 million emergency room visits across Ontario in 2024, about 4.9% of patients left before they were treated. As big as that number may sound, it was among the lowest across Canada. PEI saw more than 14% of emergency room visitors leave untreated, followed by Manitoba and New Brunswick at around 13%. Many Canadian small businesses are facing new challenges because of rising costs and trade tensions with the U.S. Now the Competition Bureau has launched a market study to make sure companies are being treated fairly by Canada's big banks. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Millions of Canadians are employed at small businesses, and every day they create goods and services to keep Canada's economy moving forward. According to the Competition Bureau, small businesses, which account for 1 to 99 employees, make up 98% of all businesses in Canada.
The current trade environment obviously puts us in a situation where competition is here at home is more important than ever.
The Bureau has launched a market study into how small businesses are treated, especially by Canada's major lenders. There are concerns because the lending sector is dominated by big banks. New or smaller lenders may face barriers to entry. Switching between lenders can be challenging, and small businesses face higher borrowing costs than larger firms. A small business needs access to loans to grow and stay afloat.
There are some signs that they're facing some persistent challenges in terms of their access to competitive financing terms.
The cost of getting a loan has always been higher for smaller companies. They are seen as bigger risks.
Business groups say small companies face added scrutiny trying to get loans, and as bank branches close, there are fewer chances for face-to-face interactions. With current trade tensions and a slowing economy, many are concerned about their future.
The optimism is definitely down. I think people are a little worried. Those that are directly impacted by tariffs are particularly having a tough time.
It's managing things week to week, month to month, and getting through it. It is a game of survival for a lot of these small businesses.
Merchant Growth provides financing for small businesses and says it can step in to help companies that may not be able to get loans from a traditional lender.
What we're able to do is make it so fast that a business owner can apply in the morning, get funded by the evening, and that time savings is very valuable.
The Bureau's market study will concentrate mostly on term loans. Businesses can take part in the study by going to the Bureau's website to provide feedback. The deadline to take part is October 3rd. Pat Foran, CTV News.
He's won the most Brier titles as a skip. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Brad Gushue says he is retiring after this curling season.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
Paleontologists from all over the world descend on Dinosaur Provincial Park in Alberta every summer to look for fossils, and a team from McGill University hit pay dirt 2 summers ago. They discovered a 75-million-year-old dragonfly fossil. CTV's Kevin Fleming reports.
It's taken 2 years of hard work to research their find. Andre Mueller is a master's student at McGill University studying paleontology. He and the team from the university made a big discovery in 2023, finding a fossil of what they thought might be the back wing of a dragonfly.
I remember I was jumping up and down for about a couple days after that find. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the best find ever, and I'm just fully geeking out. But yeah, definitely morale was high that year, I'll say that.
Mueller headed the research project to identify the species of the prehistoric insect.
I set out going through basically every paper on dragonflies from this period in the world. Old Russian papers, you know, like trying to translate everything I can. And no, this thing was completely different. No anatomy was like it.
Not only was it a new species, it's the first dragonfly found in all of Canada. Their research study was recently published in the Canadian Journal of Earth Sciences. And the team got to name their dragonfly and chose to name it after a University of Alberta scientist and entomologist.
So we named the dragonfly Cordoaladensa acorni. Cordoaladensa meaning densely winged cordelid, which is the kind of dragonfly it's related to, and acorni after John Acorn.
Mueller says the big dinosaurs like T-Rex get all the attention, but he says it's the smaller creatures and plants that help scientists develop a better understanding of what the prehistoric ecosystem looked like. The team from McGill returned to Dinosaur Provincial Park this last season and to the exact same spot where they found the dragonfly fossil, in the hopes of finding more leaf fossils and insect fossils. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Drumheller.
One of the greatest Canadians to ever grace a curling rink has announced his retirement after this season.
This will be my final year in competitive curling. For me, this is about my family and my team. My wife and daughters are important to me, and I've missed enough milestones to know I don't want to miss any more. For my team, your commitment, friendship, and drive are what made all this possible for me.
Brad Gushue led Canada to Olympic gold in 2006 and bronze in 2022. He also won a record 6 men's national titles and a world championship. The skip from St. John's, Newfoundland, and his team have already qualified for the 2026 Brier in his hometown and are set to compete in November's Olympic trials in Halifax. Kidsport North Bay and the YMCA of Northeastern Ontario are teaming up with the North Bay Battalion to make sure every kid in the community has the chance to join camp, no matter their family's financial situation. When the battalion hosts Barrie on October 19th, the YMCA will be holding the Fill the Bus event in collaboration with Kidsport. The 50-50 jackpot that night will start at $2,000 due to a sponsorship of Lifelong Planning Group. Proceeds will go back to assisting families with financial barriers to send their kids to day camp or overnight camp with the YMCA. Because of the partnership, Kidsport can now assist families outside of North Bay and covers high school sports.
We've gone from assisting 40 to 50 kids a year in the sports like soccer, baseball, and hockey to this year, because of the partnership, and we've been able to expand the program. We're going to assist approximately 350 kids this year.
We always want to look at how we can continue to impact our community in a really positive way. This year, we actually helped more kids than ever before, so we know that there's a growing need. Our goal is to raise as many funds as we can.
A second battalion game in the spring will extend the impact of the collaboration. Last year, $87,000 was raised, and that was able to send almost 300 kids to camp. The Sioux Greyhounds have signed a pair of players from the program's 2024 draft class. Goaltender William Camputaro and defenseman Isaiah Allen have signed on the dotted line. The Hounds picked up 17-year-old Camputaro in the 2024 priority selection, 80th overall. And Allen was their 10th round pick. And Allen is no stranger to the North. The 16-year-old defenseman played 44 games with the Blind River Beavers last season. And the OHL starts its regular season tonight. The North Bay Battalion kick off their season on home ice against last season's Eastern Conference champs, the Oshawa Generals. Game time is 7 p.m. at Bort Longyear Memorial Gardens. Tomorrow night, the Sudbury Wolves are hosting the Battalion at the Community Arena, and the Sioux Greyhounds will be home to the Saginaw Spirit at GFL Memorial Gardens. Both those games get underway just after 7 o'clock. The NOJHL has some action this evening. The Powassan Voodoos have won their first 2 games of the season. Will they make it a three-peat tonight? They take on the Sudbury Cubs at the Countryside Arena at 7 p.m. Strong reaction this morning to the decision by ABC to indefinitely suspend Jimmy Kimmel Live over the comedian's comments about the overall tone of debate that followed the fatal shooting of American conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between,
Jimmy Kimmel stays, Trump must go! Jimmy Kimmel stays, Trump must go!
Demonstrators gathered outside the theater where the show is taped. The Walt Disney-owned broadcaster said it was canceling the show after one affiliate said it would replace it. The head of the Federal Communications Commission in the U.S. had earlier urged broadcasters to stop airing the show. Jack Black is slithering into a reboot and a special tribute to the late, great Ozzy Osbourne. Rick Damigella has that and more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
We're in the middle of the jungle and we are being hunted.
Anaconda is back. Jack Black and Paul Rudd try to outrun a giant snake in a reimagining of the 1997 horror film. See if the pair survive when the film comes to theaters on December 25th.
People thought I was that miserable cow that never smiled.
An inside look at Victoria Beckham. The former Spice Girl has a new docuseries that follows her road from pop star to fashion designer. Fans will get a peek behind the scenes when Victoria Beckham premieres on Netflix October 9th.
If my life's coming to an end, I really can't complain. I had a great life.
A look at Ozzy Osbourne's final days on stage. An upcoming documentary captures the late rock star as he records his last album and his concluding live performance. Ozzy, No Escape From Now will be available to stream on Paramount Plus starting October 7th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Officials with Canada Post say they are sending new offers to the Canadian Union of Postal Workers to move negotiations forward. The move comes after the Postal Workers Union lifted its overtime ban and shifted to refusing to deliver commercial flyers in a bid to drive Canada Post back to the bargaining table earlier this week. Canada Post says the decision has impacted thousands of Canadian businesses that reach customers with information and offers through the mail. The Crown Corporation says Cup W employees are paid to deliver flyers on top of their wages. The union, meanwhile, has called on the Crown Corporation's management to stop playing games and mismanaging this important federal service. The union representing flight attendants at WestJet says it's given the airline notice to begin contract talks. The current deal between the two sides expires December 31st. The union is seeking compensation for what it says is unpaid work flight attendants due during, before, and after flights. WestJet has confirmed that it's received notice from the union and says it is looking forward to reaching an agreement. Earlier this month, Air Canada flight attendants rejected their employer's latest offer after striking over similar concerns. The federal government's probe into unpaid work in Canada's airline sector is expected to wrap up by early December. NVIDIA is investing billions of dollars into a company the U.S. government has a stake in. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on that and other business headlines.
NVIDIA announced today that it is investing $5 billion U.S. in Intel. The leading chip maker will buy shares of Intel, saying the two companies will partner to make custom data centers. This is seen as a lifeline for Intel, which has fallen behind other tech companies over the years. Intel shares jumped 25% on the news. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.48. West Texas Intermediate is down to 63.26. Western Canadian Select down 50 cents to 52.01. And the TSX is up 131 points for another record close today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $18.13, closing the day at $36.41.79 US an ounce. Silver up to end the day at $41.80. Copper down a penny, ending the day at $4.49 US a pound, and nickel had no change. And Rick is back now with one last look at your Friday weather.
Well, gradual clearing in the forecast across northeastern Ontario. Lots of cloud cover for today, partly really conditions. That trend will continue tonight. Then the clearing will begin tomorrow. As you can see, our conditions in North Bay, 16, gradual clearing, mainly sunny in Parry Sound. The same for Temiskaming Shores as well, mainly sunny skies. In Sudbury, we've got gradual clearing at 16, more of the same in Timmins at 14, and Sault Ste. Marie 19. So Tony, a couple of days of sunshine, then the chance of showers will begin Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. And finally, the Canadian creators of Trivial Pursuit say they're happy the classic board game is on the short list for the National Toy Hall of Fame in the U.S. The other contenders include tabletop favorites like Battleship, Catan, and Connect 4. Trivial Pursuit was invented in 1979 in Montreal by Chris Haney and Scott Abbott. The nomination comes 25 years after the game was inducted into the Canadian Toy Association Hall of Fame. Abbott says it never ceases to amaze him how the game continues to entertain people. The inductees will be announced in November. And folks, that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks so much for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Amanda Hicks. Good night.